I work with Google. I'm a business development manager there, and we have a great relationship with Blue Fountain. We work with them on basically all things Google, and they've been a great team. So, we've really enjoyed that. As you see here, and as Gabe said, I wanted to talk to you about Holiday 2013. And you're thinking, it's still beautiful outside. I haven't busted out my winter jacket yet. Why are you talking to me about holiday? And it's actually not too soon. It's actually almost late to be starting to think about this. So I will walk through a couple things today. One is highlights from last year and what we saw happening in the e-commerce space. Two is insights for succeeding this year, so tips and tricks. And three is preparing your mobile strategy. Like Gabe was saying, mobile is not an option. It's mandatory. You have to be playing in this space. And then four is next steps on things you can start doing immediately. So for this section, I'm going to make it a little bit interactive. Like Bobby and Tracy were doing, I want that energy this morning. So I have a series of true or false questions. They're very, very easy. So I want you just to yell out the answer. So I won't be picking anybody, just yell it out. So first, true or false? In 2012, more than 80% of customers said online influenced which stores they chose to visit. Okay, the next one has to be louder, but yes, true. In 2012, 82% of consumers said online influenced which stores they chose to visit. So this really means that you want to think about how your offline and online strategies work together. You can't think about them in a siloed approach. You have to have this 360 campaign going all the time. Next, 100% of consumers finished holiday shopping before Christmas. Slightly better. Yes, you are correct. 32% of consumers finished after Christmas. So if you think about that, 1 in 3 people is not done shopping on Christmas. So you think about all those people who open their new iPads, open their new phones, all those things, get the gift cards. What are they doing on Christmas Day? What are they doing on Boxing Day? I realize Boxing Day is Canadian. I'm Canadian. You don't really celebrate it here in the US. But basically, all they're doing is they want to play on their new things. They want to be downloading apps. They want to be buying. They want to be spending those gift cards. So your holiday strategy goes beyond the traditional holiday. True or false? Cyber Monday was the largest online spending day in history. True. Very good. It was $1.46 billion last year. And for 3 consecutive years, Cyber Monday has been the biggest online shopping day in history. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So, you want to make sure that you're prepared for these mega volume days. All right, and then we see that total retail sales was just under $600 billion, grew 3%. And e-commerce was about a smaller base, $42 billion, up 14%. But e-commerce is really the growth driver for holiday. We expect it to be the same this year. Retail sales are going to grow between 3 and 5%. E-commerce is going to grow between 8 and 12. So it's really the fuel that's driving the holiday season. Okay, so for this section, I have some gift bags here. If you can see, there's 3 of them. 2 of them contain battery chargers that on one charge will charge your iPhone up to 4 times, so the little portable things you can take around. And one of them is a new Nexus 7 tablet. So in this section on tips to succeed, I'm going to talk about 3 things in particular. So one is more to win. The competitive landscape is getting more and more intense. Consumers are spending more online, but advertisers know that, retailers know that, and they're all increasing their spend as well. So in a more competitive landscape, what are you going to do? Next is relevancy, relevancy, relevancy. So this is the digital equivalent of the real estate location, location, location. This really matters. So how are you going to identify your most valuable audience? How are you going to drive them to conversion and make sure that they're the ones that convert and that you're talking to them? And mobile is not optional. So without a mobile strategy, you risk not being part of the consideration set. So like Gabe was saying, people use many devices, they make their decisions, a lot of search happens on mobile. If you're not playing in this space, you're just giving up a lot of your revenue. Right, so this year is gonna be similar to every other year where there's mega online shopping days. You can see this bright line of $1 billion, and more and more days are going above this date. As consumers and advertisers kind of congregate around certain days, so Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Green Monday, which I thought originally was like an eco day, but it's green for money. And then, last minute shopping, free ship date, and then Christmas Day. So all of these are getting bigger and bigger every year. So our first trivia question is in the 6-week period between mid-November and the end of December, how many billion-dollar online shopping days were there last year? And the hint is that in 2010, there were $2 billion online shopping days. As you saw from the previous slide, there was more than 2. But what do you think it was last year? Yep. 8. Anyone else? 5. 6. Higher. 11. Closer. Yeah.
7.
Nope.
13. 15.
13. Closer. 12. Who said 12? Okay, there you go. So bag 1, 2, or 3. You get to pick a gift bag. 1, 2, or 3. Okay. This one's 2. They're numbered in my head. Don't worry. Okay. So you get to see at the end what it was. Okay, so there's $12 billion online shopping days last year, and you can see this is kind of getting exponential growth. And this year we expect more than 12, not sure how many, but it's definitely picking up versus last year. This one, I don't know if you can see the colors so well, but it's basically the top online spending days and top in-store retail spending days. So you can see all the online spending days are in this orangey color, and they all kind of congregate towards the beginning of the week. And all the retail ones are in red, and they kind of congregate on the weekends. So you want to think about how your online and offline strategies play together. So what kind of messages are you going to send? What days are you going to drive people into store? What days are you going to give them special online offers? If you're an e-commerce only site, how are you going to talk to customers on Black Friday? They're all going to the store. Are you going to give them competitive messages to get back on your website? If you're in store and you don't have a great e-commerce site, on Cyber Monday, how are you going to drive people into store? How are you going to customize your messages? So these are all really important things to be thinking about. Relevancy, relevancy, relevancy. So there's 3 ways to drive relevancy that we've seen a lot of success with. Some of the top winners out of last year's holiday season employed these strategies. So localization, so how are you going to geo-target your bidding and your advertising strategy? Product listing ads. If you're an e-commerce player and you're not in product listing ads, you need to be there, period. And then shipping solutions, and how does that matter? So localization, this is really important, and it's now simpler than ever with enhanced campaigns. Just a little plug there. And it's really talking about how you can talk to specific customers that are more valuable to you. So maybe you want to say, I want to talk to everybody who's within a 10-mile radius of every mall in the US. Or I want to target everyone who's within 5 miles of my competitor's store. So how are you going to think about how you want to do that? You can also add to localization by putting location extensions on your website. So this is most shoppers, when they're Googling you over the holidays, are looking for where you have store locations. So make it easy for them. Have it show up on this SERP page with the actual location extension. We've seen that it drives about 10% more click-through. So pretty successful that way. Next is product listing ads. So if you don't know what they are, they're these, when you do your Google search, they're like pictures with the price, and people can click through. So you're basically simplifying your customer's experience. It actually also removes a lot of the surprise, so the intent when they click through is much higher. You can see here, I don't know if you can see the highlight. Basically, holiday, last year was right here, and it was about 14 to 15% of sales in retail category were done through PLAs. And last year was the first holiday season with PLAs in them. So since then, you can see that number's going up, and up. And everyone spent the last 9 months getting really good at doing their PLAs. So this holiday, I would expect this to explode. So right now, you want to be thinking, practicing your PLA strategy, optimizing, figuring out what works and what doesn't, so that when you come to those peak periods in that 6-week period, you're like on cruise control already. So you want to be thinking about how that works. Question number 2. How many online shoppers consider free shipping when making a purchase decision? Lower than 90. So here.
85.
85, a little bit lower. 60 what? Did I?
65.
Almost.
67.
I heard a 66 here somewhere. Who was it?
68.
Be honest. 66.
68.
66?
68.
Okay, there you go. So pick bag 1 or 3. Okay, so let's see. All right, so it's true. 66% of people consider free shipping in their purchase decision. And Amazon has been so lovely and made a standard for our customers to think about when they should and want to get their delivery purchases. So if free shipping is, ideally you'd be able to offer this in the holiday season. If you can't, what can you do that still resonates with customers? So A, they want it fast. So if you can't offer free shipping, maybe offer 3 options of shipping so that they can choose the fastest one, because that gives them a greater sense of satisfaction. They also want to see things upstream. So as far upstream as possible, preferably on your PDP or your product page, you want to have that shipping time, because by the time I get to the cart and realize, oh, it's not going to make it for Christmas, I'm like, pretty pissed off by the time I get there. So you want to do that as far up as possible. Next, so mobile. Basically, last year, 13% of online sales came from mobile, and that's kind of jumped up this year already. We see that even in the B2B space, mobile is playing a pretty big part in purchasing. Black Friday, mobile traffic saw a double-digit growth of 67% versus last year, and mobile accounted for 16% of the online purchases for last Black Friday. And on Cyber Monday, mobile also accounted for 16% of online purchases. So think about losing 15%, 16% of your purchases because you're not mobile optimized or you're not playing in that space properly. Our last trivia question: what % of holiday shopping search queries were made on mobile devices in 2012?
45%.
Not 45?
48.
48, okay.
22.
Closer.
45.
Closer. Okay, 29. Who said 29? There we go. So you get number 3. Whoops, go back one. Oh yeah, there was no slide for it. Yes, 29%. And if you think about that, that's last year. And all of you said a higher number this time because, we use our mobile devices so much more this year than we did last year. But if you think about that, almost 1 in 3 queries was done on a mobile device. Okay? And this year is probably going to be more. So how do we make sure that your search strategy lines up with these changes that are happening? So first is use a top bid spot strategy. So what this means is when you're bidding, you want to be in spot 1 or spot 2. Because if you see on the mobile device, 85% of people don't go beyond that. On desktop, you have a lot more real estate to play with. But it really, really matters on a mobile device that you're in the top 2 position. Next is extensions. So we talked a bit about location extensions. But actually, there was a study that just came out yesterday about call extensions. And so about 61% of people want the call extension when they're ready to make a purchase. And 40% of people are actually annoyed when there's no click to call. So when people are searching on their site, they want to be able to make that call, and not having that is kind of actually irritating for people. But these are our top extensions. So click for downloading, location call, and site links for deep links within your website. So help that customer simplify things. If you think about it from a consumer perspective, how many times are you on your phone, you click on a link, you're like, oh, this isn't the page. Go again. Oh, I'm not here yet. So you really want to help simplify that experience for your customer. Next is mobile optimized sites. So here's an example of a non-optimized site and an optimized site. And you can see each page of the experience is just so much better on the optimized site. And this stat is the one that breaks my heart a little bit every time I say it. But basically, 40% of customers turn to a competitor's site if you have a bad mobile experience. So what that means, think about it. You finally get people to your site, and if you don't have a mobile optimized site, 40% of your budget, 40% of what you spent is driving to your competitor's page. That's a little bit painful. So you want to make sure that you have a really good experience for your customers. And then, so if you only remember 3 things today, so 1, start preparing for your holiday strategy now. It's not too soon. You have about a month and a half, 2 months to get everything ready for those big mega volume days, that 6-week period that can really make or break your year. 2, align your offline and online strategies. So how are your messages going to complement each other? How are you going to drive people in-store at the right time, drive them online at the right time? What makes sense for your business and your consumer? And 3, mobile, 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 and mobile. I really cannot stress enough how important it is to be on mobile this holiday season. If you don't have a site, get on it now. I think that this search option is really critical for success this week, this holiday season. And that's it.